Hello, 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 hello. Hello, if you're coming in from Facebook, phenomenal Friday to the Facebook Fabulites. If you're tuning in through YouTube in the studio here with me on my YouTube channel, all blessings to the travelers of the Google verse. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And however else you may find yourself here with me in the studio. This is Dr. Nicole Bossart. I am here today. Y'all know what time it is. It is the fourth Friday in October. So we are wrapping up our F.R.E.E.D.O.M Fridays series. So y'all know how we do. Go ahead, get settled in. Hope you got your bounce on because we are getting ready to go. So before we move ahead, I want to tell you again, for those of you that are new to the channel and that are new to me, here's what we do here at the studio. We are making a practice. We are making ourselves students of positivity. So I'm really calling it practicing positivity. And in this studio, we come in and we go to work. We experiment. And you see on your screen, this is what we're doing. We're looking to discover, uncover, or recover those things that give us energy, life, vitality. For what? For living, not just for work, not just for somebody else, not just for, not just for any one slice of your life, but your entire life. So this is an opportunity. And every time you come in, and I'll be here every Friday, every time you come into this place, I want you to come in confident. I want you to come in strong, grounded, and say, this is my time where I get to come in and put myself at the center. So I'm hoping that whether you are at work, whether you're at home, whether you are on the road, that you have an opportunity to come in and join us here in the studio. So here's what we're doing. Now, I just want to do a quick rewind on where we've been leading up to this fourth F.R.E.E.D.O.M Friday. You all remember where we started. We started off talking about failure and making failure friendly, not being so afraid to fail that we never actually get to the business of doing the thing that's going to give us that energy, that joy, and that sense of progress and accomplishment, right? So that's that first F-bomb was failure. We want to reframe that F to friendly. Failure is friendly. Failure is now friendly. So being able to flip the script on failure, stop being afraid of failure and embrace failure as a treasure trove of wisdom, of knowledge, of helping you to clarify what it is that you're really trying to do here, what's really the priority. Failure can be one of the best friends that you have on this journey called life. Then we talked about the second week in October. We went a little bit deeper. We looked at feedback. So specifically, we said here in the studio, feedback, we use feedback to help us move forward. And one of the phrases that you all often hear me use, and you see I use my hands a lot, but we lay hands on those things that put us back in the designer's chair, in the engineer's chair, so that of our life and of what we're doing and what we are not doing, what we're saying yes to and what we're saying no to. So when you hit a fail, how can you be a commander of the feedback and not an avoider of the feedback? You all remember how we talked about it? Feedback, those things, we get so afraid of what someone's going to say to us or how they're going to say it to us that we create this kind of feedback kryptonite zone. So we never actually allow ourselves to benefit from the additional perspectives and insights and wisdom that others can share with us. What they saw when we did that face plant coming off of that turn, what they saw. Oh, well, you get feedback from the right person, from the right snowboarder. They can tell you exactly what you need to tweak so that you don't hit that face plant again, right? Well, that works in every area of life. There's someone that has some insight, some wisdom, something that they could feed into you that can accelerate your process, that can strengthen the work that you're doing. But we can't be afraid of it. So we use feedback to help us move forward. And the second piece of feedback was own it. Don't be passive. Don't wait for somebody to tell you what they think or to tell you if they liked it or didn't like it. You go and seek them out with your own agenda. Feedback and even failure only matters if you've clarified what it is that you want. If you clarified what's the result that you're trying to achieve, if you've sat down and said, I'm putting myself into something of import, something that brings my integrity and kind of gels all of myself together, that gives me a sense of wholeness, or hey, something I just got to get done. But it only matters when you own it. And you can own the feedback by simply asking for people to give you specific feedback. You're asking for the feedback that's going to facilitate that's going to help you move forward. Then we talked about getting into your flow. Now, listen, everybody loves the woo woo talk about flow. Oh, I'm in the flow. Oh, I'm in the zone. Oh, I'm in the pocket. Oh, right. We even have dance steps for it. Listen, what I want you to know about flow is this. With flow, the most fascinating thing that I learned about flow from Dr. Stephen Kotler's work from the Flow Institute, what I learned from him is that when you look at the process of getting to flow, it's not some mysterious thing that just kind of happens when the planets align. We don't have to wait for that all the time or find ourselves at the right coordinates when the planets align and it's the proper eclipse with the cycle of the moon. And no, listen, there are some consistent steps that one can follow. But here's what I want you to know about flow. Flow occurs when you are dancing on the edge of your skills and uncertainty. When you're dancing on the edge of I know what I'm doing and I'm going into some completely new territory. I know I have something to work with, something to build with and to build on, but I'm going into some new places and spaces where I've got a lot of gray area. I've got a lot of question marks. I don't know. And it's exciting. I know enough to know I can handle whatever shows up. Flow means, come on, watch this. Flow means I'm going to be uncomfortable. Get ready to get to the flow, to cross the threshold to flow. You got to be willing to be uncomfortable. You got to be willing to risk a little bit. It's got to have some novelty to it. Right? Those are the triggers, as Steve Kotler calls them, the triggers for flow state, meaning I'm putting myself into a place where I've got to really marshal my skills, know my skills, but then I got to put myself out on my own edge. That's what I want you to remember about flow. So for those of you that are doing something big, or you're really taking yourself to task in an area, when you start to feel those butterflies in your stomach and they're crossing over that bridge from just being butterflies to turning into bats, they're turning into, 10-foot spread eagles in your stomach, that's okay. That's okay, because that's what's required when you're going to live like you mean it, when you're going to live out loud, when you're going to live in a way that has you going for greater and greater glories in life. Guess what? Greater and greater delights in life. Guess what? You're going to be in some unknown territory that's going to press you a little bit, that's going to get you a little bit nervous. Why? Because those are the things that marshal all of your biochemistry and neurochemical mix that will kick you to that next level of performance. You can't get to that almost superhuman level of performance unless you're willing to go through that little channel, that little tunnel that says, oh, I'm scared. I'm not sure I can do this. Right? That's what is necessary to get to flow state. So that's what I wanted to make sure that you picked up from last week. Flow state is not mysterious. Thank you, Steve Kotler, and many, many, many others, and many, many, many spiritual traditions that have been speaking of this for many moons. But now we understand, we have some science to help us understand that flow. Now, I wanted to elaborate on those 3 F's because now we're at the money shot for today. We're at the money shot for today. Freedom, these F-bombs. I said, listen, I want to give you this new interpretation of F-bombs that can help you set off a whole new level of living like you mean it, living on purpose, living the life that you desire, the life that you deserve, and the life that you design. So here's today's conversation about freedom is this, and I want to bring this right. Y'all know how we do. I like to go to my girl Merriam-Webster. And so I like to go to the dictionary. And here's what Merriam-Webster, we're going to start at the foundation. What do these words mean? Because the words are building our reality. So what does this mean when we talk about freedom? The power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. Now, I want to talk to some people out here right quick. The power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. Everything that we do here in the studio is about helping you to activate and to give you a greater sense of control, a greater sense of power, a greater sense of confidence, because why? You have your hands on the center, the locus of power in your life. That's here and that's here, head and heart, mind, body, and spirit. We're not dealing with all the things out here. So when I read this definition of freedom, what I want you to know about that, the reason it's an F-bomb that can set your whole life onto a different trajectory is because the game is, how do I preserve? How do I activate? How do I express and embody my freedom? Freedom that is linked to what I said I wanted to do, right? The life that I've designed for myself. And so once we start talking about freedom, how am I freed up with these F-bombs that you've talked about, Nicole? Well, guess what? Now failure is no longer a prison guard of my potential. Yes, I said it. Failure is no longer a prison guard of my potential. Feedback is I'm not living under the tyranny of someone standing over me, of me putting someone else over me and smushing down my creativity because I'm afraid of what they're going to say. Listen, I mentioned Dr. Benjamin Hardy back in week 1. Dr. Benjamin Hardy was quoting, I believe, Dan Sullivan's work around always be the buyer. That's what I mean by owning the feedback. You have to own the feedback. So if I'm owning the feedback, what that means for us here in the studio, I go and get feedback from the marketplace of other people who happen to be in my world and other people who may be 3 and 4 and 5 clicks ahead of me. I own the feed. I go to the store and buy what I want. I go and seek out the feedback. Right. So I'm no longer living under the tyranny of, I don't want to hear I don't want to hear what they have to say. I know they don't like me. So they're going to give me bad feedback. So look here, today's conversation about freedom is all about, this is where I want you to go with this. This is practicing positivity, the studio. We're going to practice positivity in the real sense. Listen, as I told you all before, the power of positivity is in its authenticity. So I want you to get pen and paper. I want you to come back and watch this replay, but I want you to really focus in on this one question. Where have I given the keys to my potential, the keys to my creativity, the keys to my full and complete self-expression over to negative thoughts, negative talk, negative self-talk? And then how dare where have I then projected that onto other people and made them responsible? Oh, I hope you caught that one. I hope you caught that one. That's that one's prickly. That one's prickly, right? I'm giving myself the rah-rahs, but then I just go ahead and put the whole tape on top of somebody else and say, oh, it's them. They won't let me. Now, are there haters? Yes. Are there trolls? Yes. Are there people who really, for whatever reason, they don't care anything about the life you're trying to design and create for yourself? They have a whole other purpose in the life they're designing, and you fit in this little box. But it's up to us. If we are going to have a life of freedom, it's up to us to guard the gates of your mind. I will put this in the show notes for today's show a little bit later, but let me tell you about Archie Williams. Archie Williams was a man who was wrongly accused of a crime, spent 37 years of his life in prison. one of the most violent prisons in the United States. And in the interview that I watched and that I will share with you, the interviewer asked, "How in the world did you survive? How did you make it through that experience?" And he said, "I was in prison, but I never let my mind go to prison. I never let my mind go to prison." So when we're talking about freedom, you have to be, and I have to be, and this is, I'm learning with, I'm not preaching to. For those of you that know me, I just get excited. I'm not preaching to, I'm learning with. What's got me on fire about this conversation about freedom is, guess what? I have tremendous, infinite latitude to actually make sure that I'm not the one locking myself up. So I asked you a few minutes ago, make sure you grab a pen, make sure you grab a paper. Here's the question that I want you to reflect on so that you can practice some positivity that can actually give you life. Here's the question: where have I imprisoned my own potential and locked and thrown away the key? Where have I imprisoned my own potential, my own expression, my own creativity, and locked and thrown away the key? What I mean by that, where have I limited myself so severely that I've said, I don't even see a possibility for that dream that I had? Where am I the person who continues to tell myself that will never work? I'm too old. I'm too sick. I'm a woman. There aren't any women who do that. Nobody my age has done this or that. Everybody's looking for the young people now. I'm too old. They don't want what I have anymore. Where are you, the guard that is standing at the gate of your own potential and saying, sit down and be quiet? Because here's where the money is. Here's where the opportunity is. Here's what I want you all to remember. As you're answering that question, here's the flip. And I want to give you a flip in a little Napoleon way. However your imagery is, if it's prison guard, if it's fire, I use fire breathing dragon. Where's that fire breathing dragon? What's the thing that I do where that fire, I feel the fire? Don't go too far. Don't go too high. Don't speak to that person. Look at how you're dressed. Look at your clothes, right? All the things that I use to put the squash on my light, on my potential, on my creativity, on my being. So whatever imagery you use, what I'm going to encourage you to do to flip it around for yourself is to have a conversation after you write down all the ways that you become the prison guard of your own potential, or the fire breathing dragon that keeps you in line, keeps you in place, keeps you small. I want you to have a conversation. Have a conversation with that prison guard. Have a conversation with that fire breathing dragon. Remember Ben Hardy and Dan Sullivan's work, Be the Buyer? You're going to have a conversation. And here's the to have with each and every one of those aspects of you that keeps you small. I want you to have in the United States, you all, we call it a come to Jesus meeting. So for my atheists, I beg your pardon. I don't mean any harm. I don't mean any offense. It can be, hey, going to the principal's office is another way we say, right? You're going to have a conversation with that aspect of yourself and say, you work for me. You're here to make sure that I live my life on purpose, that I have a great life, that I fully express and enjoy and receive all the good things that I'm able to create and let in during this lifetime. So here's your new job description. Your job description is not to keep me small. Your job description is to help me fly. My fire breathing dragon flies. I'm just saying. Think Avatar. My fire breathing dragon flies. So your job is to help me soar. So your job is to help me get above my self-doubt. Your job is to help me, to be the best cheerleader that I have. Here are a few things that you can say to me when I'm in those moments of doubt, and you script yourself. Here's what you're doing. You're rewriting the self-talk. Are you guys getting it? You're rewriting the script and the soundtrack for your own sense of living and expression. So you have laid hands on what sets you free, what sets you on fire, what puts you in the true artist studio, the engineer's position to design, to execute, and to enjoy the life that you desire, the life that you deserve, and the life that you create for yourself, that you design. So, this is what we mean by freedom, freedom, freedom. You get to take hold of everything that's happening inside of this thing here called you, and you create the life that you deserve. You create the life that you desire. That's true freedom to me. That's what I am studying, and that is what in my own experiments, my fails and my feedback, that is what is giving me life. That's what's helping me to find a new level of productivity, to find my flow. As I've said with some of my clients, find my flow. These are the things that we can use. These F bombs help us to unlock and unleash ourselves to create the life that we desire, to create the life that we deserve, and to create the life as we design it to fulfill our dreams. So, with that, my wonder people, this is our fourth F bomb Friday. So, we're closing out strong. I hope you guys can hear the bombs falling and making a whole new reality for yourself. So, thank you for being in here with me. If you like what you have heard and you're picking up what I'm putting down, like and subscribe to the channel and YouTube. If you're watching over in Facebook, go ahead and like and follow the page. Pop over to YouTube and like and subscribe there too. Listen, if you know somebody that could use this positivity shot in the arm, share it with them. If you know that there's somebody you can't stand, definitely share it with them. All right. Thank you all. Thank you all. This has been a ton of fun. I look forward to seeing you in the chat stream, on the comments page. What is it that you are transforming in your world so that you are in the design studio? You are in the driver's seat of the life that you deserve, the life that you desire, and the life that you design. And up under us today, I have for you all Locks Beats by, this is from the YouTube Audio Music Library, copyright free, of course. And this is actually, this particular track is called Underground Stars by Locks Beats. So check it out in the YouTube Audio Library. For other creators out there, love this guy's music. Enjoy. And I will be back next Friday. We will be bringing some more heat to you as we continue to focus on here in the studio. Listen, how can we uncover? How can we discover? How can we recover those things that give us life? See you soon. Thank you for being with me today. I appreciate you.